All right, let's jump right in. Have you ever thought about how one person can change everything around them just by being there? It's kind of like dropping a stone into a still pond. The ripples just spread out. Well, we're going to explore a story that's all about that. This is our explainer on R.J. Palacio's incredible novel, Wonder. And boom, that's how we meet our main character, Auggie Pullman. I mean, right from the very first page, that's his voice pulling you in. That one sentence, it lays out the entire story, right? It's all about that tension, that gap between how Auggie sees himself and how the rest of the world sees him. So you're probably wondering, why? What's his story? Well, it all comes down to this number, 27. Just let that sink in. That's how many surgeries Auggie has had to endure since he was born. And because of that, his parents have homeschooled him, trying to protect him from a world that, well, it isn't always the kindest place. But that protective bubble, it's about to burst. Because now, at 10 years old, Auggie is about to face what might be his biggest challenge yet. He's going to a real, mainstream middle school for the very first time. And this is really the heart of the whole story. The book makes it so clear that on the inside, Auggie is just a regular kid. He loves Star Wars, he messes around with his dog, he feels all the same stuff we do. But on the outside, that's a different story. And that's why his first trip into 5th grade is going to be anything but ordinary. This is it. This is the pebble hitting the water. And let me tell you, those first ripples, they are not gentle. They're harsh. Auggie's arrival at his new school, Beecher Prep, doesn't just cause a little stir. No, it creates this really cruel social situation that he has to figure out how to survive every single day. I mean, can you even imagine anything more isolating than this? The other kids actually invent a game they call the plague, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's this systematic, just awful thing that basically turns Auggie into an untouchable. The author is so smart here. She even capitalizes plague in the book to show you just how serious and official this horrible game was to the kids. And you gotta understand, this wasn't just a one-off bad day. This was his reality, a daily storm of what you might call tiny cruelties. The constant stares in the hallway, the whispers that suddenly go silent when he walks by, always having an empty seat next to him at lunch. This is the mountain he has to climb. Okay, but this is where the book gets really brilliant. The author does something super smart. She doesn't just lock us inside Auggie's head the whole time. Instead, the story starts shifting points of view. We get to see what's happening through the eyes of all the other people around him, his orbit, so to speak. And that one choice, it completely elevates the story. It stops being about just one boy's struggle and becomes a test for the whole community. And check this out. This is from Auggie's point of view. It just shows you how much empathy this kid has. Even while he's the one being shut out, he kind of gets it. He knows the other kids aren't trying to be pure evil. They're just, being normal, dumb kids reacting to something they don't understand. He gets it, and that's just incredible, even when it's got to hurt so much. Now let's switch over to his sister, Via. Her perspective is so powerful. For her, Auggie isn't just a brother. He's like the sun, and the rest of the family are just planets orbiting him. Think about that. She loves him to death, of course, but she also feels totally invisible sometimes. Her own problems, her own needs, they always get pushed to the side, because how can they possibly compare to what Auggie deals with every day? And then there's Jack Will, who becomes one of Auggie's first real friends. This quote from him just perfectly captures that intense pressure of middle school, doesn't it? That need to just fit in. At first, Jack totally gives in to that pressure. He even says some really hurtful things about Auggie behind his back. So his whole story arc is about fighting that instinct, about learning to choose friendship over popularity. So all of this brings us to the real core of the story, because those initial ripples of fear and cruelty, they don't go unanswered. A new wave starts to form. A counterwave built on small, deliberate acts of kindness. And this idea right here, this is the turning point. It's a precept from their English teacher, Mr. Brown, basically a rule to live by. And this one becomes the moral compass for the entire book. It's so simple but so profound. It's not about being right, it's about choosing to be kind. It's an active choice. And you start to see this choice pop up everywhere, in all these small but super powerful moments. Like Summer just deciding to sit with Auggie at lunch when no one else would, or Jack finally standing up to the main bully, Julian. There's even Miranda, his sister's old friend, who gives him the astronaut helmet he used to love. Every single one of these actions is like another small ripple of kindness, pushing back against all that negativity. So all these little acts of kindness, they start building on each other, right? And it all comes to a head during the big 5th grade nature retreat. This one trip, it's a total game changer. It completely flips the script on the school's social pecking order. So get this, Auggie and Jack are out in the woods and they get cornered by some older, meaner kids. It's about to get really ugly. But then, something amazing happens. Amos, Miles, and Henry, these were kids who were on Team Julian, the bully, right? They jump in, but not to join the bullies. They jump in to defend Auggie and Jack. And in that one moment, fighting together, everything changes. All those old cliques and lines just disappear, and something new, something stronger is built in their place. That incredible transformation that started in the woods? Well, it all culminates at the end of the year graduation ceremony. This is the moment where the entire school community finally, openly, acknowledges the huge impact that Auggie has had on every single one of them. And here's the thing, the award they give Auggie, it's not for getting the best grades or for being the star athlete. Nope, he's recognized for something way more important. For his quiet strength, his character, and the way he managed to lift up the hearts of everyone around him. The headmaster, Mr. Tushman, he just nails it with this quote. He explains that true greatness isn't about how strong you are. It's about using your strength to make other people feel stronger. And honestly, that is exactly what Auggie did without even trying. Just by being himself, he made everyone around him a little bit better, a little bit kinder. And you know, the incredible thing is that the ripples from this story didn't just stop when the book ended. Oh no, the novel's message has had this massive impact out here in the real world, especially in how we teach and talk about empathy. Seriously, this book has become more than just a great story, it's become a tool. You see educators all over using it, with worksheets and lesson plans just like this one, to have those really important conversations with kids, about kindness, about bullying, and about what it actually means to accept someone for who they are. So let's leave you with this one last thought, and it comes from Auggie himself. It's such a simple idea, but man, is it profound. The idea that every single person in the world is fighting their own tough battle. We all are. And just getting through the day, that quiet courage deserves a standing ovation. It's the perfect reminder that no matter how different we look on the outside, underneath it all, we're all just trying to overcome our world. And we all have that same capacity for, well, wonder.